Hi everyone, welcome to this week's Karma Cards. So we kind of have a busy week this week. I mean, there's big things happening. First, it is the summer solstice tomorrow on June 20th and the beginning of Cancer season. So it's an exciting time for us to think about everything that we're grateful for and that's growing. And with it being in Cancer season, there's always this sort of inner world sort of check-in. It's focusing on, your home environment, your internal world, your family. These are the things that Cancer focuses on. And so therefore the solstice sort of reflects that. These are the areas to focus your gratitude towards what you have, what you've created, what's around you, and what brings you support. Following the solstice, we also have the day after, on the 21st, a full moon in the sign of Capricorn, which sits opposite of Cancer on the zodiac wheel. And so where Cancer represents our internal world, Capricorn represents the external world, what we're putting out in the world, how our public standing is. It also can represent career or what we're doing in the world. And it's a really interesting juxtaposition because with these two being together, it's always about this work-life balance. It's focusing on what you're creating, but not forgetting to nurture and take care of what you have. And what's kind of extra special about this particular Capricorn full moon is it's the first of two full moons in a row that will be in the sign of Capricorn. So we will be revisiting these themes on the 21st of July as well. This full moon is at 1 degree, which indicates the start of something, so a new beginning and perhaps a new way of finding that work-life balance. And the next one will be, I believe, at a later degree, like 26, between 26 and 29. So it's kind of a wrapping it up or looking at how we're handling it, sort of a going over it and making sure that we're creating habits that are healthy and are leading us to success instead of leading us to burnout or overdoing it. By the way, if you'd like to hear more about the full moon in Capricorn, as well as work on some release work and healing work with me and do psychic Q&A, you can join me at the full moon in Capricorn Spirit Circle by going to this link here. It's in the description below. Click on it. It'll take you to my Spirit Circles page, and you can see all the different ways that you can join and be a part of the Spirit Circle. I'd love to see you there and help you move towards that work-life balance, focusing on how you can create that stability and success in your life. So I hope you'll join me. So going back to sort of the energy right now, there is, again, more energy towards the end of the week of something shifting. And again, the focus feeling more internalized. Cancer is one of those signs that sort of internalizes. Think about the crab in its shell, right? So it's got this very soft center, the very hard outer shell, and that's meant to like protect what's inside. And that's very much the energy we're sort of feeling now, is protecting what is inside. And this brings us to the message from the team. And the message from the team is there's still this theme of doing the inner work. It is constant right now, these messages from the team. And they want to remind you that the past, your past, and Cancer also represents the past. The house, the fourth house, which Cancer rules, represents the past, the internal world, the relationship to the mother, the family, that support system around you in your home. But regarding the past, your present moment was created by past choices. So wherever it is you find yourself now, that was created well before you got here. And whatever you're creating in this moment will determine what your future present moment looks like. So if you find that you're still struggling with some things in the present moment, you can actually help yourself heal in the now by going back and healing the past. Now, here's where we get into some fun kind of quantum metaphysical physics here, but we're getting into an area where we have to understand that time didn't end. There's still the past happening even now. It's just your consciousness has moved to a now point. You're in this time period and not in the past. And yet, on some multidimensional quantum level, the past is still playing out. And sometimes we can feel that in our system. You'll notice when things kind of come up for you, and it's almost like you're reacting to it like it's happening to you now. You'll have a memory of something you said or something you did or a choice you made that doesn't feel aligned now. And you might notice that sometimes you have those and you're, well, that created who I am now. So I have peace with it. I understand it and I move on. And there are other times when those same instances will come up and it's almost like you're right back there. You're feeling that emotion. It's like you're cringing or you're angry again or you're feeling emotional connected to something in the past. And what that's trying to tell you, your subconscious mind is trying to tell you that there's something still linked there. You're still linked to it and it hasn't fully healed. The mistake that we make often is we sort of just rehash it and relive it and then try to repress it again. Like, oh my God, I cannot believe I made that choice. I can't believe I said that. And down it goes again because we don't feel like we can face it. Until we can look at it from a more objective place with more compassion, understanding, and forgiveness, that link stays active between past and present. And they're asking us to recognize that we don't have to get over it or hold on to it. We can actually, through meditation, through visualization, through energy work, we can actually sort of go back into that past moment and we can do it over. Even if you don't feel like there's, for example, let's say you said something to someone and it feels so out of alignment with you. Maybe you were going through a hard time and you snapped and you said something you didn't mean. But now that person is long gone. You don't have a way to contact them. And it might feel like it's unresolved. Like I'm never going to be able to amend that choice. That's not exactly true. You can, through meditation, through visualization, through sort of shamanic journey work, you can go back into that past moment and either you can do it the way you would do it now, having the hindsight and the knowledge you have at this point, using that wisdom, and almost visualize the situation going in a more peaceful way. Or you can have that moment immediately after, catch yourself and apologize, right? Go to that person through energy and ask for forgiveness, give your apology, and allow that to heal in the past. There is a part of you that is sort of traveling back through time, if you want to look at it that way. And it's creating an amendment to the past. And you can do this with any kind of past moment. There's stuff that when we still have that emotional attachment that we do need to learn, but there are ways to understand it, work through it, and heal it in the past. And you'll find that you'll start to feel a corresponding to this present and slightly alter your present moment, whether it's simply bringing you peace, which will be the first step. It'll be that first thing you're getting. But you also might find that you have released a limiting belief or a block or a negative emotion that was trapped in your body. And that's what doing this work can do. And the team is saying you can go back and repair the past to heal the present. And so I encourage you to give this a try. If this is something that you find hard doing on your own, there are many people who can help you do this. Some great options are hypnosis. If you know a qualified hypnotherapist, my favorite form of hypnosis, which is quantum healing hypnosis, which shows you just how active other time periods are, even within your own consciousness. And that's another way you could repair it. You could do it with visualization work, somebody who does work like that. These are things that I do with people one-on-one. So if that's something that you feel like, yeah, I want to do that work and you need help, you can always message me and reach out and see if this is something that we can do together. Things like hypnosis, I just want to recommend, need to be done in person. Hypnosis is a very sensitive subject and it requires you to have a practitioner present with you because you can go very deep into your own psyche. So whoever you work with, make sure you're working with them in person. Other than that, if you want to do visualization work or journeys like that, you can work with people online to do that, because it's not taking you so deep into your subconscious that it would be hard for you to sort of move out by yourself. So that's the message from the team. But let's look at what the karma cards are adding to this healing the past or repairing the past to heal the present, and see what they have to add to that message, right? If you're new to karma cards, let me quickly show you how these work. I have here 3 decks: planets, signs of the zodiac, houses of astrology. And I've already asked my team, what's the message for this week? And I've got 2 sets of answers, a set in red, which are action related, and a set in blue, which are outcome related. And the way that you play is you tune in with that beautiful intuition of yours and feel what is the guidance you're looking for this week. Are you looking for action-related guidance, outcome-related guidance, or do you want both? And you can always choose both. And while you're doing that, let me tell you the timing for this reading. This reading is for June 19th through the 26th. And the flavor, well, we've got Mars. I go, Mars wants to take action. In this case, what we're talking about right now, the action isn't so much an external action, it's more of an internal action, but it wants you to move into action. In the sign of Scorpio, which I find will help us do this work, because Scorpio does the deep dive. It'll go deep with you and it'll bring you to the truth of any situation. The 3rd house. The 3rd house is the house of expression and communication. So there's something here that needs to be communicated. And if we listen to what the team's message was, you can see that what needs to be communicated is some type of repair in the past to heal the present. For those who are choosing action, your spiritual action at this time is to energize the extraordinary power of prayer by making the right connections. Yeah, to do this work, you can utilize the higher power. The prayer is the asking. So think about what it is that you want to heal or repair. What are you struggling with in this present moment? That's the right connection. What is it you struggle with? Are you struggling with self-doubt? Are you struggling with lack? Are you struggling with things, with themes that keep reoccurring, themes that are just coming in over and over again, and you're confounded as to why is that happening? That's the connection you want to make. Now ask your higher power to help you identify it. Send the message up the flagpole, if you will, and say, okay, I'm ready to look at this, because that's going to help bring it up in the subconscious mind. Mental action at this time: confront the highest and lowest aspects of the idea in question. So again, once you have identified, this is where I'm struggling, higher power, help me identify its core. Where's the seed of this? And it brings it up. It's going to give you a review. You're going to see something. There's usually some kind of incident. It could be a chain of incidents too. It might not just be one, but typically it is like a sort of a seed point incident. It's going to bring it up. It's okay if your first reaction to it is to recoil, like, oh, not that again, right? Or, oh my God, I can't look at that. That was so cringy. It was so awful. I want to push it away. Recognize there's a part of you that's rejecting it. Also recognize it's coming forward now to be healed. It's not torturing you. So many people sort of misunderstand how the subconscious works. Your subconscious loves you deeply. Your subconscious is connected to your higher self. It's connected to your higher mind. It loves you deeply. When it brings these things up, whether it's organically or you're asking for it to be called up, it will only bring it up if it truly believes that you are in a place where you can truly heal this. It will not force you into healing unless it believes that you have acquired the wisdom and the tools needed to do the job. So if you find that you're asking and it's not coming up, it might be a sign that there's something else that you need. Maybe you need to learn some techniques to help you regulate your nervous system, maybe doing some forgiveness work, whatever it is. If it doesn't bring it up, if it does, and I feel like for most of you, it will respond to you. It'll go, okay, here you go. Remember, it's not doing that to punish you in any way or torture you or to create a bad day. It's doing it because it says, yes, you're ready. I agree with you. Let's heal this now. Physical action at this time. Force yourself to control the situation and get your ideas going. Well, the force yourself and control, these are Mars, which used to be the ruler of Scorpio, and Scorpio. So there's a little bit of this intensity in the energy, but it's saying you're going to need this intensity because this isn't work necessarily for the faint of heart. It's hard to go back and look at the mistakes we've made sometimes, especially the ones we're not at peace with. There are some mistakes where we've made our peace already, and looking at those would be easy, but that's not what needs to be healed. The ones that are harder to look at are the ones that need to be healed. And there's going to be sort of a knee-jerk reaction to go, no, push it back down. I don't want to look at that. And it's saying, use that willpower to remind yourself that, nope, I want to heal my present moment. And to do that, I must repair my past. And to repair it, I must look at it. I must come to an acceptance around what has happened. The first step to healing is always acceptance. You have to be able to say, I am willing to hold this and look at it in order to do anything about it. So there is sort of this idea of rejecting it, but they're saying use that willpower to go, nope, we're going there. I can do this. I can be in an uncomfortable space because this moment will pass, right? That feeling's going to pass if I just let myself accept it and be with it. All right, so now let's look at outcomes for Mars in Scorpio in your third house of communication and ideas. The spiritual outcome at this time is the drive for purification to resurrect your ideas. It's just an interesting way of saying, like, we're going to have that desire to go purify or repair the past to resurrect what we're trying to accomplish now, right? If you feel like there is a block in your way, if you're not getting what you're going after, I know many people right now are really focusing on manifesting. They really are putting their energy and their mind to it, and they still feel like no matter how much I put it out there, I'm not getting as much back. And what I'm hearing from the team is kind of by design. It's like, you've got to heal this thing. You've got to look at it. You've got to make peace with it. You can go rearrange it. You can see yourself in a different light if that's what you need to do. You can see the other in a different light. You can remove yourself from the situation entirely. If it's a situation where you feel like you're being traumatized and at the time you felt like a victim, you can kind of go in there and rescue yourself from the scenario and sort of rewrite that history. And this isn't to say we're denying it. It is simply to say, I've already lived it. I already understand. I've understood what happened. I understand the trauma that's a result of it, but now I'm going to go in and heal myself, because you don't have to constantly relive it in order to honor that you went through something. At some point, you can go in and rewrite that story and see how it helps your psyche to heal through that. Mental outcome at this time, the confrontation of the secrets of short-term thinking and trips. Again, when I hear that, I feel like this is really about getting to the heart of, like, the short-term solution is to suppress. And understanding what suppression does. It doesn't make it go away. It just compacts it into your system. When we suppress the emotions and when we're suppressing our subconscious mind for the healing it's trying to allow us to do, that energy has to go somewhere. It's not leaving. Suppression doesn't make it leave. And I know that a lot of people are listening. You get that. But you got to realize, where's it going? When we suppress something too much, it goes into the physical body, because that energy has to go somewhere, and the body will hold it, because the body is like a repository of all memories and all understandings, and it goes into the system. It'll go into organs, it'll go into joints, it'll go into your back, your spine, wherever it needs to go until it gets worked on. And the longer we're holding on to it, the more severe. It's like, think about it as almost like an impaction in your energetic system. The longer you're holding on to it, the more impacted it gets. And then the more severe the response to holding it gets. So it's asking us to consider what that does. So consider that process. Like if I keep pushing this away because I don't want to be there, I want to be here, but here isn't going smoothly. It's not to say it has to be perfect. I don't think anybody's life is perfect. And I think that we have a lot of tools to help us stay present and grounded. But if you find yourself in a lot of avoidance, if you find yourself stuck in fight or flight, if you find yourself postponing or procrastinating or hiding, there's a good chance that there's something that needs to be resolved so that you can move forward. And they're simply saying it's time to understand, sort of confront the secret. And the secret is it doesn't go anywhere. So you've got to face that. I think that understanding that helps you sort of move it, especially if you're starting to feel chronic pains. If there's a pain that keeps reoccurring, it's usually a message from your subconscious that, hey, this is something that has to be addressed now. There has to be some work done here so we can heal. And when we see it that way, it makes it sort of easier to go into these harder places. Physical outcome at this time, action resulting from the power of who and what is around you. So there are two ways that you can go into this past repair to create the present healing. One of the ways you can do it is through atonement or making amends with someone. So if there is a situation that does involve another person and you have the ability to work that out with them directly, this will also create that past repair that creates the present healing. The beautiful thing is, even if you can't have that scenario, now that scenario I would say is, of course, even more powerful because now you're allowing another person to heal with you. And there's always an increase in energy when more than one person is involved. If it's not possible for any reason, like maybe there's someone who is not safe to communicate with, maybe, again, like you don't have contact with them anymore, there's still power in seeing them in that past scenario with you and repairing the past. And again, this isn't implying that there's a fault here, like you did something. It's literally could be you changing the scenario, you getting to say the things that are like weighing on you, like, why didn't I say that in that moment? Well, now you can go back and say that. And you might find that you say it in a more balanced or grounded or powerful way by going back and doing this. But the energy of bringing them in, either energetically or physically, is going to result in a lot of action. Now, action is going to create a new result. And so what they're saying here too is that by doing this work, whether it's in person, whether it's on the physical plane or the mental plane, there is going to be an action that creates a result. And so this work this week seems to be where all the power is and where all the healing of the present can be done by simply making repairs in the past. I hope this helps you. I hope you have a beautiful summer solstice, and I hope I get to see you at the full moon in Capricorn Spirit Circle. And until next time, I'm giving you a big kiss. Mwah.